To all the non-believers, 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 non-believers. I'm making non-believers.
What's up, y'all? This is Jay Varsity, and welcome to episode 58 of NBA Talk Playoff Edition. And we're gonna go a little bit on a side note here because I've been hearing some talk about Steph Curry being on the all-time list, especially since that quote by Andre Iguodala when he mentioned that Steph is the second greatest point guard of all time. And I'm even hearing people compare Stephen Curry to Magic Johnson, and I'm here to say I'm here to tell you that comparison is dead false. You cannot make a comparison like Magic Johnson and Stephen Curry when the value of the point guard was completely different in their eras. In Steph Curry's era, the point guard has to be able to to provide as much scoring as much as assisting. The In Magic's era, you had to be a floor general and basically make sure that everybody got the ball. You had to be more of the distributor and then being the one to score. You had to make sure that the offense ran through you, and you were the one that was responsible for getting players going in their rhythm. Magic Johnson had to play in a much more physical era. There's no comparison compared to that. But Steph Curry, his arsenal when it comes offensively, he's already an offensive threat from the moment he crosses half court. He's already an offensive threat. So people to make comparisons with Steph Curry, Magic Johnson, it's not logical. You can't compare you can't compare them like that. And to me, it's just somewhat disrespectful to some of the other great point guards. Like one for me would be Allen Iverson, who was ahead of his time because Allen Iverson was the one that brought the scoring point guard into the NBA. Like he emphasized that the point guard can put up as many points as the forward or the shooting guard or anyone like that, and it changed the cycle of what the value of the point guard is supposed to bring. And for Magic Johnson, it wasn't like that. For Magic Johnson, it wasn't like that. He had to make sure that Kareem got going, James Worthy got going. He had to make sure Michael Cooper got going. He had to make sure Kurt Rambis got going. He had to make sure that the entire team got going in rhythm before he decided on himself. And when Magic decided, I'm gonna start scoring, it was like towards 87, and that was basically when the Lakers were the best team of their. They were one of the best teams in that time period. Was in '87, and especially since they were battling with the Celtics, and his adversity going through what he did in his career is not the same as Steph Curry's. And but like I said, you have two different things you bring to the table when you bring up this argument when it comes to Magic Johnson and Stephen Curry. Magic Johnson could bring you excitement with fancy passes on a fast break, and he was the emphasis. He was the creator of Showtime. He emphasized the term Showtime offense. And Steph Curry, he was he's the almost a version of Showtime, but more of if you try to think that I'm not gonna shoot the ball, I'm gonna shoot it before I think about passing it. But Steph will not be selfish to not pass the ball. He won't be selfish. He will give up the ball if he sees a better shot than his. But don't act like Steph is not gonna shoot it. But it's not the fact that Steph has the responsibility of passing the ball, because now point guards need to know how to score. Point guards need to almost put up as much of a heavy lifting as the forwards. And that's why I say you cannot make this comparison. And and then analytically, Steph didn't have to play in an era that was more physical, because if Steph had to play in a physical era and dealing with teams like the Boston Celtics and the bad boy Pistons, or even teams like the Philadelphia 76ers in '83, I don't know. Steph being at his size and dealing with teams like that, I don't know if Steph would have been able to take the physicality. And then I don't know if Magic Johnson, I, in this era, I think Magic Johnson would be effective, but I don't think he would be as effective as Steph. He wouldn't be as effective because now point guards need to know how to shoot the three. Point guards need to know how to shoot the three, or at least a mid-range shot. You and for guys like Ben Simmons, Rajon Rondo, that they even, but let me not really Rondo because he's starting to show a little. He's showing more that he could be a minimal of a threat when he starts getting a jump shot going. But Ben Simmons, who refuses to shoot, he he just is not a big of a threat on the perimeter because he just won't shoot. He won't shoot. But yeah, back to this topic. It's just Magic Johnson. He would be effective, but they would more likely dare him to shoot the three than let him go in the paint and try to create a shot for somebody else. They would more likely dare him to shoot the perimeter shot. They would show a little more disrespect towards Magic Johnson. They'll just be like, okay, the only way you're gonna beat us is that if you start making threes, and then if he makes threes, then you got a problem. But Magic Johnson was just not as big of a threat on the perimeter as Steph is. As for Steph, you got teams that are literally looking for him the moment he crosses half court, and especially he's off ball. You got It's almost like trying to chase around a cartoon character. He's literally running around screens all over the place. He's zigzagging throughout the whole play. And if you lose him for a second, he's wide open. And then he already has the ball, and the ball's already in the air. That's how dangerous Steph is. Both these guys are dangerous. Steph is dangerous right now. Magic Johnson was definitely dangerous in his era. I still call Magic Johnson one of the greatest point guards to ever play. I just think the comparison is not fair because it's not fair to both guys because it's two different eras and their styles are completely different. You can't really say, oh, which one is better than the other. They're both multiple time champions. They're multiple time MVPs, and it's just different play styles, different eras. And now we live in an era where the three-pointer is becoming way too valuable, whereas in the 80s, the three-point shot really wasn't as big of a emphasis as it is now. The three-point shot was nice if you had somebody who could shoot the three in the 80s, but it was more like a secret weapon. Now it's a normal weapon in today's NBA. You have to have somebody who can knock down perimeter shots, or you're just not going to be successful. That's just the era that we live in. That's the era of the NBA that we are in right now. And Steph created that transition in the NBA to where you have to have the ability to pull from 30 and just basically drag out defenses to guard the perimeter and then leave the paint open. And Magic Johnson in his time, he was a 6'9" point guard, which was not something that a lot of people were used to. He was so big, so fast, and he has such great ball handling, and the way he dominated in transition was unbelievable. These were two people that are dominating their time periods, and we just got to respect that. We cannot compare the two of them because offensively they're both two completely different players. But yeah, that's it. That's all when it comes to this debate for me. I don't know if I'm gonna create this as a new segment. I don't know. I don't think this is gonna be a permanent thing. But it was just something that I wanted to come around, and I just wanted to clear the air that you can't really, like I said, you can't compare these two guys. They're two different eras, two different playing styles, two different kinds of people, and it's just you can't. One is the greatest shooter. One is the greatest shooter that we've ever seen. The other one is the greatest passer and the greatest point guard that we ever seen. These are two all-time greats in their rights, and we just got to respect that. Anyway, but if you are a football fan, If you're a football fan, then I suggest you go check out Unsportsmanlike Conduct Podcast. I left the link in my last video. I might leave it in this one. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like basketball content. This is your boy J Varsity, and I am out. Peace.
We got some non-believers out there.
Make believers out of non-believers. Make believers out the overseers.